So I thought that was pretty interesting. Today we're going to do an introduction to Artiphon, a very new innovative music instrument brand. I'm a guitar player. I've never actually played any instruments like this, so I'm going to give you my real-time reaction as I unbox and play around with them. Let's go. So to start out, what is Artiphon? Well, first of all, these are instruments made for what they call the music curious individuals, which I thought was pretty cool. They're actually targeted toward a lot of people that may be early on in their musical journey, or individuals like myself that are just sort of music gear nerds that want to find some pretty fun, innovative new products to play around with and make some cool noise. One thing that I wish I did more of was creating sort of nice ambient sort of works, and I love sampling. I like playing around with it, inside of Logic. But I'm a guitar player primarily, but I've seen a lot of folks take these and make some very interesting atmospheric creations and things like that. Beyond that, what makes them very cool is that if you can't tell by the boxes, they are relatively small. So you can put these things in backpacks, you can take them on a trip. If you're just looking for something to keep you inspired while you're out traveling, these can be a great product for you. So I'm gonna open them up. I have no preconceived sort of notions here. We're not being paid by Artiphon to do this, so I'm just gonna give you my sort of live reactions, again, as a guitar player, to what I think about them. So let's open them up and see what happens. I'm actually gonna start out with the Chorda because it's the larger of the two instruments. You can actually hold it and play it like a guitar if you really want to, or like a keyboard. So I'm gonna dig into it first and see what happens. First of all, it's pretty cool on their packaging and branding. So let's get started. And there we have it. Very sleek little instrument. I would say that probably weighs about 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds. So it's very light, which I think is pretty cool. What else is in the box? USB cable. That is for loading up sounds onto the instrument. So one of the things I did read is that you can upload different samples, your own sounds. They have an app where you can download a lot of these sound packs, sample packs, even song packs, upload them to the Chorda or the Orba, which I thought was really cool. So a little handy cable to do that. And that's it. It's very simple. So I'm gonna take my life in my own hands and choose not to read the Get Started manual. And I'm doing this mostly because I've already watched some videos on this and read a little bit about it. So I feel pretty good about it. Pretty simple instrument. So let's just dive in. So first of all, I'm gonna turn it on. And I'm greeted by a rainbow of colors here on this little device, which is cool. Loading up the samples. Let's see where I'm at. Okay. So I'm on the lead setting, so this is basically where you can play single notes, and it sounds like, so out of the box, it sounds like it's got a violin type of a sample, but I believe, again, you can load like piano samples or different sounds onto this, which I thought was pretty cool. So the A button will allow you to choose which type of instrument you're gonna perform with. So they have drums, they have bass, they have chords, which basically allow you to play full chords just by hitting a single key. And then they have lead, which is where you can play, sort of lead lines, right? So I'm gonna switch it over, just to have some fun here, I'm gonna switch it over to drums. Yeah. So this is pretty cool. With the drum kit here, I mean, you've got, 12 different pads. So you've got everything from a bass to a snare to different cymbals. Pretty cool. And then I know you can use this little swipe pad here to actually do like trills and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So you can use that. It also comes in handy, like if you go over to the lead mode. I'll go back here. If I'm playing a note or something, it actually runs like arpeggios, which I thought was pretty cool. So you can like. Kind of cool, right? So it's almost like playing like a guitar. So that is one cool feature of this. And again, like I've seen people play kind of. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Again, I have spent no time with this, so you know, I may make a fool of myself here just messing around. But what I do like about it is even out of the box, it seems pretty intuitive to just get started. I mean, I know a little bit about music theory, so I understand. I mean, we've got 12 steps here, you know. So pretty easy to kind of figure out. You can also change the key here. You can record songs on this. I'm not gonna get into that today. We may do a second video that gets into the recorder and the sequencer, but just know that you can start a multi-layer sequencer here where you can actually record drums, then layer chords, bass, lead. It's basically a music production studio in one. Today, I'm just gonna mess around with sounds. But some other things we can do, like using the A button, if I do like press this key, which is the number 8 key, that allows me to change the key of the instrument. So as I go up through this, which I think I use, yeah, so use this little pad, this will change it from C all the way up through the scale. So you can pick your key that you actually want to perform in. That's pretty cool. If you've got drum beats, there's a secondary key for the BPM. You can also do an arpeggiator. So let's play around with that for a second. So I'm gonna hit the A button and then number 6 for the arpeggiator. So if I hold down multiple notes, it's gonna arpeggiate through those notes. So let's just try the 1, 3, and the 5. Pretty cool. So again, even if you're not a piano player, or even if you don't really understand much about music theory, it makes it pretty simple to get started. And again, each key is labeled 1 through 12, so you kind of know where you're at. If you know, again, even the basics of Nashville numbering system, you can kind of mess around in here. So let's go over to chords now. This setting is pretty cool because again, it allows you to play full chords with a single button touch. Pretty cool. And again, lots of different options. You can upload samples here to have different sounds of instruments. And I'm not sure what the trackpad does here. Let's give it a try. So it still sounds like it's trying to play an arpeggio. I'm probably not doing it properly, but that's kind of what you get here. The final feature we're gonna take a look at is the bass setting. So if I go over here to that side, so again, sounds like an upright, kind of plunky bass. You can load different sound samples if you want. So you can see, you got all the steps in here, so you know. Back to my root note. So it's pretty cool. I would say if I wanted to go have some fun with something in a park or take something while I'm traveling just to be creative, this might be a pretty cool option. So I do like the fact, again, that you can hold it like a guitar if you want. Kind of sounds weird on a bass, but on the lead side, it sounded pretty interesting. So overall, I would say this is very interesting. If you are new to music, I can definitely see where this would be a starting point. If you're someone that already knows music, it's kind of more of like a toy in a good way, right? Something fun to play around with. What I really am looking forward to doing is a secondary video where we take some of these instruments and hook them up through guitar pedals, into a sampler, doing some things with them sort of in a musical setting. That could be a lot of fun. But just as an initial out of the box reaction, I think this is pretty cool and it's definitely innovative. I have not really seen anybody else that's taking sort of, portable music concepts to something like this. The only exception to that, and this is much higher price points because these things start at, I think, like $250. The Orba is less than 200, it's like 150. But to get into something, that's portable, that has a lot of features like this, you're gonna have to get into stuff like the Teenage Engineering line with something like an OP1, and at that point you're talking about $800. So given the price point, I'd say it's pretty cool. So let's move on to the Orba and see what's going on there. The Artiphon Orba, this one is much smaller. It is totally round. It's not as feature packed as the Chorda that we just took a look at, but what it does lack in features, it makes up in very simple, intuitive design. It's got all the same functions. So again, bass, lead, chords, drums. Let's pull it out of the box and see what happens. And yeah. Oh, cool. So we're already on drums. So let me turn this around. I'm gonna turn this, the A is gonna be a little off for you guys on camera, but I'm looking at the 1 on my left all the way around to the 8 on my right.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but you know, hey, you've got 8 different samples to play with. Just like the Chorda, there is a USB plug where you can upload your own samples to this so that you can personalize it. And one thing I didn't mention is that both of these do have headphones out. So again, if you want to play it in headphones, or if you want to hook it up to something like a digital audio workstation where you can record it, it's easy to do that. And again, we're going to take these and run them through some guitar pedals soon, because I think that would be a lot of fun. So first impressions, very similar to the Chorda, simple interface. We do only have 8 pads here to work with instead of 12, so it's going to be a little bit different on that front. A button still does the same thing, so I've touched it now. I'm over to bass. So there you go. It's basically all whole note scale all the way up, which is pretty standard. I think there is the ability in here, the settings, to change, again, your keys and stuff like that. So let's go. I'm back to drums, now I'm bass. Let's check out chords. So again, numbering system here in terms of that's actually kind of cool. I didn't notice that. The longer I hold the pad, it actually changes the timbre. It brings out like a higher octave. That's pretty cool. So chords are packed in here as well. You also have a lead. In this case, is a piano. Much like the Chorda, you've also got a recorder built in here, which, you know, you can record tracks, you can change BPM. Let's even give it a try. I may make a fool out of myself, but let's try it. So I'm gonna hold down the A and I'm just gonna press record. And there's a pre-recording that's already on here. So you can see if I wanted to play along with that. So anyway, and now it's recorded. So it's gonna loop that back. So it'll loop it back. Of course, my very poorly put together track here, but the cool thing is you can keep layering that. So you can lay a drum beat, you can put some bass, you can put some chords, you can put some lead. So it gives you the ability to do a lot of pretty fun things inside this very small, lightweight box. And that's like, you could almost put this in your pocket. That's maybe half a pound, I guess. All the speakers on the bottom, gets pretty loud for its size as well. So overall, I'm a huge fan of innovation, and I feel like in today's market, there are so many music products that are just remakes of something else. It's almost like Hollywood. Like, I feel like everything's a reboot of something old. We tweak something as a new generation of something. It's a version 5 of the same pedal that we've been making for a decade. Artiphon is pretty unique. I really, again, can't think of anybody that's taken this sort of approach to the music market, especially for users who are early on in their music journey. I could see this working out really great for a child or a young teenager, somebody that wants to get involved with music but doesn't want to take, the full leap to learn something like piano or guitar. It's a great entry point. So from my perspective, just on the cool factor, the innovation, and how it makes music accessible to more people, I give it a thumbs up. You guys tell us what you think in the comments. Would you want to buy something like this? Would you want to borrow it? BuyOrBorrow Music does make it available for you to borrow any of these Artiphon devices for as little as $19 a month. If you fall in love with it, it's a one-click purchase. So if you're interested, you want to give it a try, maybe think about us. It allows you to get your hands on something before you have to shell out the cash. So we'll put some links down below in the description so you can find where to access it on our website, as well as all the details about us and what we do to help musicians discover their sound. So until next time, thanks for tuning in. Let us know what you think in the comments.